sight of birds soaring through the firmament is a marvel to behold and suggests that joy may be realized merely through observing the natural that is forever present. The pelican is a graceful bird in flight and swift in diving for its prey, but the peculiar structure of its body prevents it from making a perfect landing, and in alighting, it is uncertain and awkward. The young pelicans on the nest await their mother's return with food which she scoops from distant fishing grounds. It is a task for this mother returning from an all-day fishing trip to catch enough fish to maintain herself and her young, who are always hungry and remain on the nest for months before they are able to fly and seek their own livelihood. During the nesting period, great numbers of pelicans congregate on certain isolated islands and establish their nests on shrub-like trees. To this island alone, more than 6,000 come annually. Pelicans were formerly thought to be destroyers of edible fish, although after investigation they were found to live on prey which the human trade would not consume. The adult pelican seems an impossible creature. Through some trick of nature, it appears that a perfectly good goose is forced to wear a long beak supporting a fish net. As these two half-grown, helpless young ones strike out at an intruder who threatens their sanctity, we are inclined to be amused at the futility of their defense, for they are as yet insecure of footing and their beaks are too soft to inflict a wound. But soon these young will reach adulthood, and like their parents, will lift their heavy bodies from their perches, and after several rapid strokes of their wings, will level off in an environment that they are fitted for. To glide leisurely over the sea in quest of food. With their eyes focused on the surface of the water, they will sight a silvery reflection, halt their momentum in half their length, and dive straight into the ocean for some finny prey. Other great fishermen are the gannets, who come yearly by the thousands to faraway Cape Kidnapper in New Zealand to form an immense community of birds. Thousands of nests set out in almost parallel rows cover every foot of available land. On each nest, a patient mother awaits the hatching of her eggs. The eggs are deposited in nests that are constructed of small stems of seaweed, and this mother is adroitly rearranging her nest that has somehow been disturbed. Birds are affectionate, and these two individuals, apparently fencing with their bills, are in reality making love in gannet fashion. Remarkable indeed are the many love rituals in birdland. In due time, the eggs hatch, and the mother feeds her young by allowing it to insert its bill into her throat to obtain a fish that she has previously caught. Not satisfied with one meal, the youngster goes for another fish, until finally the store is exhausted. Leaving the city of Gannets, we travel 9,000 miles into the Bering Sea. Here, upon rocks and precipitous cliffs, small northern gulls are busily engaged in the universal desire to perpetuate their kind. These birds also prepare their nests of seaweed gathered from along the coast, and considerable skill is exercised in working this material into form on some narrow ledge. On completion of the nests, love-making is in vogue, and two graceful creatures court each other, or perhaps make arrangements to meet here again next year. Cormorants are characteristic figures on the northern rookeries. These birds are not particularly beautiful creatures, as they present themselves with much awkwardness on land as well as upon the wing, but they are masters in diving below the surface of the sea in pursuit of some fleeing fish. The black sleekness of the adult as it dries its feathers in the sun is altogether different from the newly hatched cormorants, who are naked little creatures that resemble young reptiles. It is indeed not out of place here to speak of the resemblance between bird and reptile, when it is considered that birds have evolved from a reptilian stock. Soon the young one approaches the size of the adult and awaits only the growth of wing feathers in order to fly. Some birds always attempt to establish their nests on high cliffs, so as to render them inaccessible to animals that would readily destroy their brood. One of the most bizarre of these birds is the puffin or sea parrot, an unusual bird that spends the entire winter upon the open sea, and only when spring approaches does it point its beak towards some lonely island with a family in mind. Upon the sea, these birds are entirely black, but as the mating season approaches, both male and female develop a white facial mask. The skins of these birds were formerly used by the natives of the far north for the making of feather coats or parkas. Another beautiful bird that appears yearly in great numbers on the northern rookeries is the murre. These birds do not build a nest. Only one egg is laid on the bare rock in any suitable crevice. If nature allows them to be careless of their eggs, she is more exacting in their dress, for all are well groomed and appear like little men strutting around in full dress uniform. During the gold boom in California, a great colony of murres off Golden Gate supplied San Francisco with fresh eggs. Millions of eggs were stolen from this rookery and ultimately resulted in its total destruction. Today, murres are found in abundance only in the far north. Suddenly aroused from their peaceful pursuits, thousands of birds fly into space, giving the impression that an avalanche is falling away from the face of the cliff. Multitudes of birds fly about in great confusion. Their swiftly moving bodies blacken the sky, as if a great cloud was rapidly passing overhead. The present stronghold of the murres is on Walrus Island, a bleak rock with an area of less than 5 acres and situated in the Bering Sea. It is no exaggeration to estimate the number of inhabitants on this rock to be in excess of 3 million. Because of the island's remoteness and inaccessibility, this remaining rookery will always be free from the depredations of man, and forever a beautiful sight to behold. Murres are not particularly good flyers, as they spend most of their time on the water, where their wings serve them as flippers for diving beneath the surface of the sea. In this respect, they are similar to penguins, but unlike the latter, have not become so specialized as to have lost the power of flight. On approaching nearer this group of birds, they become frightened and confused and escape to the open sea. So great is their number and so poor their ability to rise, many murres, in attempting to leave the island, pile up in what appears to be a rolling mass. Viewing these birds, one realizes that when man encroaches upon a sanctuary where he does not belong, he institutes only fear and trouble among the creatures living there. Multitudes of excited birds scramble to the safety of the sea, a sight that brings forth admiration as well as a profound appreciation of the fact that we have witnessed a phenomenon of nature, a winged pageantry.